Hi, everybody. This is Joanna. How are you doing? Thank you so much for tuning in. And I wanted to offer some ascension wisdoms and healings in our vibrations today of this beautiful month of February. And I always get so inspired when I've been doing client sessions and classes um, because normally when I'm tuning into those that I'm co-creating with, my heart chakra opens and I'm receiving within the group and the collective, I'm receiving informations that are needed. But oftentimes I don't open that depth and that width of space unless there's others in front of me and that I'm offering and I'm teaching with. So I always feel after my webinars and classes and sessions, I always get far greater information sometimes than when I'm sitting just talking with my teams, because the space and the heart space and the intention and the excitement of all of us meeting together provides so much more energetic portal for me to bring those wisdoms and informations down. But the council, the High Council of Nine, thank you, they're all with us, with the councils of the higher frequencies of the Christ consciousness, the councils of light, the Star Council that I've been dealing with for many, many years. They were one of the first councils that connected with me. I am a part of the Star Council and other galactic timelines and beings. And just to give you those of you that are new, I am a Christ consciousness conduit, and I'm an empath and a crystal child. When I was 5, I had my heart chakra adjusted by the Pleiades when they came to adjust my heart chakra because of the experiences that I was experiencing in my social experience. And I had my heart chakra. You can see the experience that I had with them so that they could turn down my empathic skills because of the environments that I was in. It would have been too traumatic for me to continue. And so they adjusted my heart chakra, and they had left the scar there because of the differences in vibrations of what had occurred, the difference in the vibration between what I was experiencing and to the energetic shifts, which leaves at sometimes scars. And many kids walk around with these scars and we don't know why and how they occur, but it's because of the variations and the shifts of frequencies within the body. And it's done sometimes too through birth, because the frequencies through which the child and the baby feels, as well as the mother. And sometimes these abrasions and these marks come on our bodies. And we've called them different things in real life, but they are because of the energetic frequency shifts between what we know as ourselves as pure spirit and what we are experiencing in those moments of friction and trauma. That's just a side note. Sometimes, often, what we have talked about and what we've known in our collective, things like allergies and things like that, they're only in the way we've explained it through 3D, but they're very different when we look at it from a different perspective of multidimensionality. And we can change things. We can change our biochemistry, and we can change our perspective and our beliefs, because many allergies are based on the beliefs that we hold within ourselves and how our body operates. And our body just takes entrainment and coding from what we tell it, even if it's only told once. So it's amazing at how much control and how much commandment we have within our body and how to heal it. But the Councils of Nine wanted me to come on. Yesterday, I did a video and I deleted it. There were so many good stories, but I just chose to delete it because I wanted to bring it together. They had given me some offerings yesterday, and this is our Ascension teachings for today. We're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about the Ascension bottleneck right now. That's what the Councils of Nine wanted to talk about, the High Council of Nine. And yesterday we were talking about the glow of self-responsibility, and many that are awakening to their gifts and skills and how to understand the honor of self-responsibility. And as Jesus had shown me, that we are each responsible and in commandmentship of and dominionship of our consciousness, and why we can allow that to be a profound experience. And that becomes the glow of all that we are, because we're constantly renewing ourselves with ourselves, our soul, renewing ourselves with the words and the direction and the guidance of Source Creator and only Source. And that allows us to truly step into who we are as the highest versions and beings of our own unique path, and not succumbing to the wants and needs to programs that are falling away and breaking away. And that's really, really important. There's so many in my classes and in my webinars. The constant theme, which will be our second topic, the constant theme that has been coming up in all sessions have been the undercurrent of playing and expanding and breaking into new. And that is partly what has caused what will alleviate the bottleneck of ascension right now, which is what the councils wanted me to talk about, because there's so many that are feeling these experiences of here's some symptomologies that they've been seeing the collective move through, and which is exactly what I've moved through. So they always offer me something so that I'm understanding what I'm moving through, and that I can offer to others as well as channeled information and wisdom. The ascension bottleneck has been popping up more and more and more, because at a collective level, because we understand that at a collective level, we feed energies from one another in the omnipresent field that we exist within. Remember, we affect the environment affects us. When we receive our dominionship and we act more within the soul of who we are, honoring our soul, living within our soul and our soul truth, we're no longer being the representatives of old world paradigms and socio-systems. We're living fully in our sovereignty. We become more effective of the environment than it is right now, the environment affecting us. So as we become more and more sovereign, as we become more and more Fadi, we will be the ones affecting the environment more and more and more and more. Although we can see from our lower consciousness how we have affected Gaia, how we have affected animals, aggression for one another, and so on and so forth, because it's been the consciousness of our consciousness. The animals behave in the similar mirrored reflection of our level of consciousness of aggression and separation. And so those are mirrored reflections, but just know that as we receive more and more of our own essence of who we are as source, we're renewing our soul, our direction from who we are. Who are we? Why are we here? And what do we express, experience, and explore ourselves as spirit, creating matter? The more that we live in this space through those knowing of your ascension cycle, daily self-care, honoring who you are, allowing the releases to occur, and then pressing into the new is really where that bottleneck stops. It's created a bottleneck because some of the ascension symptoms that create that bottleneck are because of the desperation of the unknown that the collective feels. Separation of family and loved ones, because there will be many soul contracts that will be deliberating into other aspects of experiential earths. To us, it might seem and appear that, and this has been said by many other channels in different ways, but it all means the same thing. So I'll explain it in a few ways that we have heard it through what I'm hearing right now from the channels that I'm receiving that are speaking to me right now, because we're all one consciousness. That's what they're showing me. I don't know if that'll make sense, but those that get that will. They're saying that when they speak to those of us that are the channels for the collective ascension, that it's all that same consciousness, same message. It's just coming out in different words, because those of us that are conduits, we use the words and the vibrations that we have, that we understand our level of dialect. So the higher vibrational wisdom that we have to open to higher confirmation, higher communications of information, that intellect is a higher vibrational intellect. And this is why all on our channel, for as long as I've been doing this, we've always stressed and pressed and expanded ourselves into using higher vibrational terms and words and potentialities, so that we're releasing the paradigms and the limitations and the boxed in words that the 3D offers. It's all a part of the same game. It's all honored, it's all appreciated, it's all required. But allowing the higher vibrational potentiality will alleviate some of that bottleneck, so that we're not feeling, clenched up and anxiety ridden because of this vast changes that will occur. And one of them is, the separation of family and loved ones, because every one of us is moving on a unique soul's path for ascension. Every soul will be moving through their, whether they know it or not, to clear 51% of their karma before they move into an ascended state. That karma is required to have been moved through, as we've said many times, so that we learn the appropriate soul lessons, because the soul wants to. The soul wants to experience all that it wanted to, for a myriad of reasons. But because of our Earth's collective experiential needs, most of those will be in fear and limitation and subjugation, because that's the roles and the games of our planetary experience. And in that each soul will have its own unique threads and themes that it must move through. The sifting out and the shifting out, and remember that we say this because we are all one. There is no separation. It's just how we perceive the experience on the physical. But remember, it's an illusion. But one requires oneself to sit within and really understand what attachments we hold to those around us. When we're all one in spirit, we're all helping each other at the highest vibrational levels. Why we offer the contracts we do to one another, why we trigger one another in the way that we do, because the highest versions of us said that we're coming here to learn in vast, expansive ways, and we need to be able to live from a place of unconditional love, forgiveness, and compassion. And the only way to do that is to stretch that soul, releasing those limitations of attachment, fear, and limitation, so that we step into this allness and infinite of all that we are as one. And so separation of family and loved ones means that there's shifting out of the vibrations. And that means that all people that are on their vibrational paths will be moving through experiences that will vibrationally place them in appropriate, I just see them as like these little oscillating discs, that are constantly moving in the infinity 8. And when you've cleared your experiences, and even on your ascension cycle, you can see your next set of activations and integrations where you step onto this new oscillation. Just as the 3 universes that they showed me years ago while I was in the dentist chair. Our universe is in the middle. This is a side view. And the one that they gave me was a top-down effect. Our universe is in the middle. And it's a beehive experience, moving the energy flow of who we are, always constantly releasing and transmuting, releasing, transmuting, releasing, transmuting. When we're finished this cycle, all time is now. Now, all time is now. There's no past, there's no future, it's all now. When we're going through a now moment, we're ready to learn something new. That vibrational thread pumps us up onto a new thread of experience. It's no different than our universe. So when you, each micro, macro, if this is you, if you will, you've just completed 51% of your karma, you're ready to shift over to a new vibrational thread of experience. And it affects your entire body, your cells, DNA, everything. Everything is affected. Every moment, everything is affected. But we don't necessarily operate in that way because of the limitations and the fears and belief systems we have about who we are, what we exist with, and what exists within us. So there is a vibrational universe next to us that's also moving through ascension, and it's pushing us up as we push this one up, as it pushes this one up, just as if each and every one of us in our own unique family cycles and circles are pushing one another up. That's why it's so important to be the fishers. This is being the fisher for our universe. Our universe is being the fisher for this universe, constantly allowing one another to move up in vibrational threads of co-creation and existence and evolution of light. And so what the bottleneck is that when a collective, say, 3 million of the collective are ready to take that next vibrational angle, we need the collective with us. There needs to be a certain number of energetic vibrations to catapult into that, past that membrane, to that membrane that pumps us into this cycle here. We need enough within the collective, I'm saying universe, right? This is a multiverse that we're talking about. But it is micro macro, so we're talking about this collective as well. When there is enough within this same, if it's in a family, if there is enough of the vibrational collective at this level, if you will, that, what is it, 1%? We're just giving this in numbers, it's arbitrary, but we're giving it because that's how most people want to think about things, because that's how our brains are patterned. 1% of this level of the vibrational collective wants to move into 4th dimension now. There would have to be enough of them to pump them into a higher vibrational 4th, not necessarily the one that was like last week. This is what we're saying. This is how fast these timelines are shifting, how fast our light carries greater light, greater light. And this is why there's been an infinite number of Earths that are experiencing infinite number of realities to complete their soul's versions of what they wanted to come and experience. One cannot fast track karma to complete it and to clear it. You just can't. Because you need that experience. You need those vibrational experiences and healing through that karma. You need to know how to humble, the ego. You need to know how to serve through spirit. And that's experience. You need to know how to heal the bodies within you and the wounds within you through forgiveness and through unconditional love of yourself. And each time having that devotion of yourself, return to the self, return to the soul, and be guided from this place. Because you can't fast track it. You need that information. You need that wisdom that you've gained through all of your trials and tribulations. You know, all the times that you've walked up those steps again and again and again. You need to have that experiential, that becomes your wisdom. And nobody can take it from you. It's a vibration. You can't quick pill it. You can't take it from another. You can't, you know, read it in a book. It needs to be experiential. That's why the Ascension cycle is so important, to know how to create self-healing and self-soothing and care for yourself, so that you know when it's time for a release, you know how to take care of yourself and honor your bodies the way your bodies need to, and your fields. So this bottleneck is the collective, you know, the vibrational collective. There's that underlying fear of, okay, well, there's many things that we see are happening, and we see, even as light workers, we see friends and family start shifting off into other experiences. And even though we're light workers, we understand the law of one, we understand that where there's no separation, we still have those vibrational experiences of loss and grieving. And we still have to move through the ascension experience of attachment. What does that mean for us? And why am I attached? Because I understand we're all spirit. But it's, again, how we are patterned in the psyche. And this is why it would be so important that we offer children higher vibrational understandings of who we are, what we exist within, and what exists within us at the earliest of ages, so that they're not held within limitation the way that our generations have been for eons, thousands of years. And so the separation of loved and family ones are meaning that they're on their own unique soul's journey. And they gave me a beautiful experience last night, because I had a dream about one of my very beloved beings in my life, my grandpa, and he was so special to me. And I've been going through some really challenging times, just trying to heal, you know, those various aspects for the collective and for the divine feminine lineage that I've been clearing and healing. And he came to me, and he was saying, he gave me a vision within my dream, that I was helping lift him up, and I placed him gently on the snow. And then as I went up to reach on a vine, it was this weird jungle thing, but it was snow. It was so weird. And as I was reaching up for this vine, I saw him being placed in this beautiful powdery snow, and then he disappeared. But I felt this profound emotional gratitude that he was saying, thank you for lifting me up to this level, because I couldn't have got there without you. And so this is a profound experience that those in our lives, we oftentimes don't, you know, I've often said this so many times, because I can feel what I'm clearing that's not mine. I can feel into those subtle energies, because my subtle fields have awoken, and my teams are allowing me to touch and feel those experiences so that I can explain and teach it, and why sometimes we feel the way we do, and why it creates the bottleneck. That there's those energies that we heal and clear for others, because they don't necessarily have the capabilities and the tools to do that. So many of us as light workers and empaths and old souls come here with the tools and the gifts that we have, you know, and all of the things that we've created, so that we can help people clear and understand the multidimensionality of all that they are on all timelines, and why it feels the way that it does sometimes, and why there's others of us that take those extra darknesses and densities on to clear it. While others are, you know, understanding where they're at, because this is a collective journey, it's a family journey. And even though we may not appear to be on that same timeline experience, if you will, in that same earthly experience, they will be there, but in a different form or a body. And that's important, because they're 3D. They're only the words that we have. So do not place a blanket on it as far as quantitative or qualitative, because those are never our experiences in what we offer. It's just the words we have for you to understand how we're explaining the story of the all, of the now, of the infinite that all of us are in this now moment. Because we want to compartmentalize things and place bodies and names on things, and it's not. Their experience of you, if it was my grandpa will be in this next timeline shift that will be with me, but it might be in a friend that I will be meeting and making. And his spirit is still with me, and he will show me, because I can see that his spirit is with that body. So I hope that makes sense. So we can release we'll obviously still, yes, have the human experience of grieving and honoring of the experiences that we've had with them, and still heal and process that, because that's part of our healing experience. And understanding attachment and detachment, and why it's so important in mastery. And you know, the aspirant's path is to honor that we're all one. All you need is source. Those people never ever lead us. It's just that physical experience of them moving into another body and something different. Thank you, Spirit. I honor you. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. All of the teams are tuning in right now. I'm so grateful. Thank you for your love and your light. Thank you. And so they were saying that, and the third one, we're only going to give three. There's a little bit more. So it's the desperation of the unknown. So those of us saying, well, my jobs are changing, everything's changing, because as we said many times in our videos, in honor of all light, everything is being bathed, which means that things are going to be shifting overnight. You know, there's going to be vast shifts, and that overnight might be 2 weeks, depending on where your consciousness is at and what your soul needs to experience. Remember, each person is experiencing a unique earth, what they need to experience. Where someone might experience something overnight because they're ready for it, they're okay with it. They didn't want that job anyway, so off they go, and they're off to something new. So it's unique, and allow it to be that way. That's how beautiful and graceful and elegant Source and Creator is. All of these experiences are in the beautiful of consciousness, but it's our vibration saying, just let go and let God. You're going to be where you need to be, but you still have to do the work. You still have to clear out, set your new intention about who you are, what rules and what guidance do you follow, and who are you as a sovereign being of the Holy Christ. So you're aligning with the higher vibrational threads as they're coming up for you. And then you don't have to worry about, which we all experience, it's all normal, but you don't have to be stuck within desperation for too long. You have your moments of those feelings of, loss and grieving and shifting overnight. So feel it, allow yourself to feel those emotions, and journal it. But then how can you, as they were showing me, how can each and every one of you create that breaking of the membrane and helping others, if you so desire, or just expressing and creating and experiencing and exploring yourself new from what you've just experienced. That's how you bring things up to a higher vibrational collective experience. So how can you help others through a creative expression, through a creative exploration, a creative journey in your life's experience? Because your life is very valid. Your life is a part of Earth's collective story, and it's beautiful and it's necessary, and it's adored by creation. You've taught and you've reflected to so many darknesses, shadows, beauty, glowing. And that's what they've showed me before yesterday, was the glow of self-responsibility. And that can only come from you owning and claiming every step of the way, regardless of how challenging or dark or incredible it was. Own it as a part of every step. Every step, you own it, and it becomes full light. Not repressing it, depressing it, damning it, deleting it. Nothing's hidden. Nothing. You can never, ever, 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 ever just destroy something. There will always be that energetic experience that is somewhere that needs to be transmuted. That's what we're doing now. We're creating that karmic clearing that our souls wanted to clear and use for this soul's theme to be the leaders and the teachers and the healers that we are in those new societal experiences for socio-altruism. We're clearing 51% of our karma. So that might mean, 3 lifetimes on this vibrational thread. You see, these are all vibrational threads. Top down, vibrational thread here, 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 here. There might be a lifetime over here, a vibrational thread here, a vibrational thread there, a vibrational thread. We're clearing all of that through this now reality experience. And why we have such issues with control, why we have such issues with limitation or fear. And so the loss of the illusion, I'll say the illusion, if you will, the illusion of us losing family members and friends, and those experiences that the humans go through, it's transitioning out of that 3D to step up into something new, so that we can all alchemize what we've understood to be attachment, and releasing it and just lightening up a little bit on it, because they're always with us. And my granny and my grandpa, they were so very beloved to me. They were like my parents to me, and they've always shown me that they're closer with me now than they were on Earth. So we have that access, greater access to them, and they come to us in moments where, we need them, and they know that we're feeling pain, and and they come to us all the time in different ways. And they'll meet with us, in nature. you know, those of us that are Gaia speakers and love nature and love, you know, animals and things like that. Thank you, Spirit. So grateful. I'm so honored. Thank you, grateful. All the councils, I'm so grateful. And so grateful to be a speaker and a conduit for the Holy Christ consciousness. Thank you, Holy Mother, Father. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Yes, thank you. We're all with you today. Thank you. We're all with you today. Thank you. We understand that you are all going through so much, but just know, allow yourself a new perspective of how joyful your journey can be. You're not meant to know what's around every corner, right? You walk up to a beautiful shop or a boutique, you don't know what it's gonna be today. You have people that design things. It's no different than the angels and your guides and your teams and all of the energetic experiences that you all place out there through your hearts and your desires to live in oneness and kindness and harmony. And all of the angels and all of creation is working together, combining thought and pulsations of energy and light. And you're creating your own boutique window of what you want your reality to look like. You don't know what it's going to look like when you get there. You wouldn't want that. You're creating it as you go. So be okay to let things go and open up into the new, the unknown, right? Many of us that, you know, really enjoy boutique, you know, when you're walking along the streets and you have, you know, just window shopping. How many of us love window shopping? Just because you don't know what every window is going to supply, that's what the unknown is. And so how can we dance in it? How can we bring it to new vibrancy of, yeah, this is my life. Today's going to be a new window. And what do I want to see vibrationally within that? I'm going to take greater care of my heart. I'm going to offer my heart to someone that I wouldn't necessarily offer it to in a new way. I'll be a little bit more compassionate, a little bit softer, because it's what our world needs, is that gentleness and tenderness and kindness. Thank you. So they're just showing me all the beautiful consciousness beings that are with us. They're just showing us that we're the ones that help you create those windows when you're going and shopping in those beautiful boutiques. And there's nothing wrong with that. But again, it's all in the balance of who you are, and assure yourself that you're still aligning your atonement with spirit, you know, not living 98% of your life in, you know, the material structures, but to live all that you are as a soul and enjoy the material structures in balance, you know. And when it's not in balance, then it becomes addiction and obsession and dependency and all of those things, because they're not in balance, because we think we need them more than we know ourselves as spirit. And those are parts of the healing that have to occur, and why people have those shifting out experiences. And it seems like to us, and they told me, you know, that oftentimes we experience it as death or, you know, an illness or something, or they just move and have a job and we never see them again. Those are experiences that are in the unknown of spirit, and they're really not taken that way from their perspective. Does that make sense? So each soul has its own unique perspective as to what happens in their own reality. That person might have wanted to check out by just going on a long trip, and they've shifted to another earth to want another experience, but you've experienced it as a death. So this is just what's so amazing. It's just an infinite, incredible experiential design. It's meant to be. It's meant to be. You know, it's just like this blouse. One would want the experience of their earth to look like this. The next would want it to look like this. So that's why the beauty of creation is the gift of creation. It's infinite. All we have to do is align ourselves with who we are. What is our unique expression? Who are we, and what is our unique joy to explore and experience ourselves anew? Break those membranes. Allow yourself to experience despair in however way you need to, and allow that experience to be a few minutes, you know, every day. Pocket yourself a couple of minutes every day to experience those grievings and those losses. Realign to center, and then call in those higher vibrational frequencies so that you can begin start creating anew. And in all of my sessions and my classes this week, the common theme was to take it to something new, to take those, what we offer is that 5D leadership. Take what you're doing and take it to that 5D experience and just break those membranes into something new. Like test it, play with it, create, test it again, break it down, rebuild it, you know. Allow yourselves to know that this is a beautiful part of the video I made yesterday. The second subtitle that we taught yesterday, that we offered, was the profundity of growth for the soul that's held within the gray. That we're moving away from the experiential black or white realities that we've been living in for so very long, that it was 3D of fear and limitation and greed, and having it be right or wrong. There's a lot of gray that we're able to work within as souls. Each and every soul has this potential. I am absolutely learning from it, because I've come with such stern and defiant, you know, my unwavering faith in source and that light. And, you know, so that's been really tested, because you have to move through those shadow experiences, and you're back and forth and back and forth. And what I've had to learn, you know, bringing myself back to the densest experience that I could as a human. Once I reached a certain level of ascension, I pulled myself all the way back to a page. Those that know tarot, I was a queen and pulled myself all the way back to page, so that I could experience the denser experiences of the psyche when COVID occurred, so that I could experience and be a part of that, to assist in the healing at the collective level, and for many other of my other karmic experiences that I had to clear. And then I had to rewalk those stairs again. I wouldn't be here without my teams. And I did that by myself. I did that alone. Thank you, teams. Oh my gosh, I wouldn't be here without my guides and my ancestors. Thank God for the legions of light that carried me. You know, every day waking up saying, "You got light, you're stronger than you know. Stand up, dust yourself off, your wings aren't broken. You get up and you soar. You can do this." But on earth, you're just like, well, I'm all alone. I don't have anybody, you know. And your teams are going, "You got us. There's thousands of us here for you. You just need us. We're here for you. You'll find your way, and your friends will find you. Abundance will find you. Just stay with your light. Stay with your light. You got this. You're learning, you're learning, you're learning." These are tests, and these are initiations to new levels of those threads of vibrational experience that you wanted to have, so that you can, as we said before. So the other part of our experience here, because there's so much gray going on, and because so many are opening to the gifts, the glow of who you are, of knowing your self-responsibility. You're responsible for your light. You're responsible for your choices. You're responsible for acknowledging and accepting and allowing all that you are in all moments. The law of non-resistance, as the Holy Christ showed me. Whatever you've created, acknowledge it. Be accountable for it. And how do you change out of it because you're a master? You can't. Sometimes that will be walking away from what doesn't serve you, you know, from behaviors and experiences that, you know, are harmful and degrading and depleting to your light. There are other experiences that are, you know, but we have to own those experiences and say, okay, well, what am I learning? You know, why did I think that experience is, you know, and there's many reasons for that, because, you know, they're here to clear lineage about subjugation, you know, people pleasing as empaths and crystals, and believing everything that people tell you, and then believing the best in them. And, you know, the cycles get more and more toxic and harmful, and nobody is served and nobody wins. And those are getting off those karmic cycles that have to be done. And that's where your growth is. That's the gray. And so what they were showing me is there's lots of soul growth in the gray, where you're determining for yourself to know that all is source, all is perfect. And it allows you, those areas of gray allow you to release all judgment, and to release release determination on outcome, or control and expectation on outcome. Because if you just open up and just be present with what's going on, there you're opening that heart portal, and all the highest vibrational wisdom and information come through. And those areas of gray become crystalline clear when you infuse that crystal light. So as the things in our socio experience changes, medical, the arena will change, pharmaceutical arena will change, businesses, all of these, because they're now having to adjust to a higher level of integrity and transparency. That's the Holy Christ. The crystal grids will be then infused, always infused with higher vibrational light and codes. And this is why these businesses will have their certain tower moments if they're not living and existing and co-creating in full integrity, full transparency, and they will have each their own tower moments to rebuild and reinfuse absolute light, so that the foundation will be in balance with and in alignment with the crystal grids. so that those foundations don't fall, that it will always be in an utmost highest priority, serving the greater good, socio-altruism. Not so that every company walks away with $6 billion that, and serves the public only 0.1%. That's not socio-altruism, is it? It's serving the board. So this is where things will change and shift and be okay. These things will shift out. They're meant to, they have to. This is what our souls and our pulsations, it must be more fair. Every time we make those heart pulsations, everything in our social collective will be changing because of that. The fairness of the children, anything that has been underground, anything that has been inappropriate, all of those will be brought, because in our hearts we're saying we want higher vibrational fairness for the children. There's no way they should be used as slaves in any way. In any way, nobody should. We're all beings that are sovereign and free and as we should be. It's our birthright. We came here with rights to be free and honored and live free and honored. Every person is lived. Every person has the right to live as their sovereign, free experience as being holy and sacred and beautiful, and express themselves in that way. Not to be held under any one or company or collective or whatever it might be, whatever structure we define it, the words don't matter. Anything under any control is not okay. It's part of the gray that we're creating greater color with by infusing that light. Because again, as we said in many of our videos, any type of control that is projected, any type of control that is assumed, it affects the multidimensional bodies in every way. It affects the energetic body. It affects the physical body. It affects the cells. It affects the biochemistry. It affects everything. That's why it's a very damaging vibration to the evolution of who we are as a species. It affects the cells, the very fabric of our cells. And if those cells do not get light because they're not oscillating fast enough, that is absolutely a direct, relevant example of the de-evolution of our species, and why it's so important that we break through the bottleneck. Take that step in the unknown. The unknown, just like walking around that corner to that boutique. It's going to be a beautiful window because you're going to create it. You're going to say, I can do something with this. Yeah. Put me in a box, I'll break out of it. Give me something that say can't be done, I'll work my way around it. Give me a mandate, let's rewrite it. Company mission, start at infinite. We're aligning with the infinite. We are eternal. We've forgotten it. We've never been taught that or told that, and now we are. Now we are infinite. Now we are invincible. Now we are limitless. Now we are the ones that create through light and through integrity, through the self-responsibility of who we are, saying that our words matter. We're honoring our words. We're speaking in the truth of who we are in that moment. It might be different the next moment, but you know what? It's going to align with light, and it's going to align with those areas through which have taught us soul growth. So what they said to me, because of that whole area of gray, and we're going to talk about this a lot, because that area of gray really creates that bottleneck. Because the area of gray is new to everyone in our collective. We've never been here before. Those areas and those shades of gray, all of our laws and all of our socio-systems will be rewritten, because it will be more purely aligned with the sovereignty and the freedom of expression, of creativity, of the greater good collective, honoring. And not be so limited in the spaces of what we thought to be and who judged and who arbitrarily deemed good or bad or right or wrong. And they will be more becoming gray, until we infuse greater light, so that all people within the collective are being healed and bathed in light. Those that perpetrated and those that were the victims. And there'll be healing systems that will allow all systems and all, as we said earlier, those discs will all be brought up to new vibrations, and every system will have that next vibrational disc. And so what they were showing me is that honoring that which is social consistencies of cycles of infusion of joy and light. So they're all cycles of joy and light. That's what breaks the bottleneck. The shades of gray become light when we're creating from joy and light and excitement of who we are. So those shades of gray are those experiences through which many of us, all those that are awakening, we go through family and friendship transitions, because you find out that your friends are no longer, communing at the same level. You're just not interested in those conversations anymore. They're just not honoring you and matching you in vibrational intention and integrity. And that's okay. Remember, it's all okay. There's no judgment on any side of it. There's those shifting out of those reality discs that each and every one of us, our souls are choosing for us at the highest level. It's not just arbitrary, you'll just get placed there. Your soul is choosing at the higher level. The more awake you are and attuned to live as your higher self, you have those creative attunements to say, no, I want to be here today. And source and the universe will back you up. You're creating your reality through your intentions of pure intent. Pure intent, the will of the Father, the wisdom and the intelligence of the Mother, and the honoring of the Mother, the allowance of the Mother. The male and female frequencies harmonizing as one. Creative exploration to create more, create more, create more. That's evolution. Those experiences of all that we are becoming create those shades of gray, which all that density came from. That shades of gray is just the light entering into it, which becomes shades of gray, because it was very dark. We then get to infuse our unique light. Each and every one of us, a starseed, each and every one of us a light worker, each and every person on this planet gets to infuse their unique creative experience of light into it, those shades of gray. Those shades of gray get uplifted into something new, becoming new discs and cycles of experience. Again, infinite number of earths. And that self-responsibility is each and every one of us owning and honoring. This is why we came. This is why we came. This is why we had. In such gratitude, thank you. The infinite number of ancestors that are with us, empowering us and helping us, and being that legions of light behind us when we have those challenges and struggles that we don't think we can get through by ourselves. Because trust me, holy cow. I was joking with them the other day. I said, man, oh man, who signed up to be my guides like a year ago? Give them the biggest award, because holy cow, was I was a handful. You know, they're just screaming at me right now. We would do it over again. They've had to recycle out because I put them through so much crap. I had to do a changing of the guard real quick. You know, I kept telling them every day, if you change the guard, I would be absolutely okay with it, because I wouldn't even be my guide. Too funny, my guides. It's just crazy. And they're right there. They're just like, we got you. Woo! You could do this. And I'm just like, oh my God, but I'm so alone. And they're just like, no, you're not. There's thousands of us here. Wake up. Oh, it's like they said to me this morning, like, just get up. Get up. I'm like, no, I'm really tired. And because you're sitting in a bottleneck, get up. I was like, but I want to sleep. Like, get up. Get a class going. I was like, okay. And they were just giving me this download, and I don't know what those words mean. And I had to look up all those words, and then I put it together in a sentence. Once I start channel writing, but sometimes I'm just, feeling lazy, and I just want them to tell me. But I have to go into that channel writing, because that's when all of that wisdom and information comes through. And then they'll just be talking to me as I'm going throughout the house, and they're always with me. But when it's for the collective, I want those messages. So here's the ascension systems, here ascension symptoms as the collective, what we're all going through, and how our collective energies really require each and every one of us to be the catalyst for each other to burst through that membrane, so that we don't stay in a bottleneck, because it doesn't feel good. It feels like you wake up every day being tired. That's what the bottleneck feels like. And you got to get up and do something new. Create something new every day. If you're feeling like that's what the bottleneck feels like. It means that you've got to do something extra to get your vibration up. Eat more greens. Get play in Gaia more. Drink more water. More essences. The sprays and the essences to shift your biochemistry within your body and your cells. Go for a walk, go for a run, get up, do yoga, those types of things. That's the bottleneck, and you've got to push past that membrane and get your vibration up, because those cells are wanting greater light. And if you're not doing it, you're sitting there. You stay in that bottleneck, and then that bottleneck, and then that bottleneck, and more of the collective is creating this bigger bottleneck. Someone's got to break it. I'm one of those ones to do it. So who's with me? Who's with me? Who's with me? Who's with me? Who's a code breaker? Come on. Text me. Email me. The information's in the box. Highest truth and integrity. We're here to create light, benevolence, self-responsibility. Self-responsibility, those that want to create light and break those membranes. That's who I want to partner with. People that are willing to work through in light and infuse light into everything, so that we bring fairness and we bring constancy and we bring love and creativity and joy back. Create through joy, create through your excitement, create, 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 break that bottleneck. Again, so the third one, so the first one, these are symptoms. These are just the 3 symptoms that they gave me, just as a collective general. Desperation of the unknown. So, oh my gosh, I don't know what's coming. So just receive it and perceive it in a different way. Oh, I'm just going to go boutique shopping today, or boutique, window shopping, and we can do that. We don't need millions of dollars. We can just window shop. I'm great at window shopping. I don't have to buy anything. Window shop. What is my boutique going to look like today? You get to create it. So get excited. Well, I'm going to meet some really nice people, and we're going to text, and we're going to talk about these new linen pants that I saw in the window. So if anybody wants to connect with me, I would love to work with someone on makeup brand, because there's a lot of makeup out there that I've tried, and there's some that I'm really, really specific about. Like there's mascaras I'm really, really specific about, because there's so many mascaras and so many of them don't do what I want them to do. Too funny. I'm very specific about my makeup. And not that it's like fancy, smancy or anything. I'm not that type of a person. As far as, expecting certain labels and titles, that's not what I meant by specific. I mean, specific means I like my makeup to do a certain thing, and I haven't found the makeup to do a certain thing yet. I got a little bit here and there, a little bit here and there, but I'd like to create a brand that creates the makeup that I want to create. Anybody that's a makeup person, artist, put her together of eyeliners and mascaras and shadows. I love shadows. Desperation of the unknown. Separation of family and loved ones. I mean, that's a fear, because everybody has those attachment issues. I mean, it's the pattern we're all breaking out of. And that goes right back to, what goes in that I didn't talk about, but is really, really huge, that so many of us are moving through. So many light workers are moving through at this next phase, is the reinvention of who we are. Who are we? Especially when we go through these huge transitional detachments of what we thought we were, or what we titled ourselves, or gave the roles and obligations that we thought we were held to. Motherhood. We get to redefine that and rewrite it and reinvent it. That's really huge, and it's a part of that separation. Because those people that are shifting away from us, and those people that are shifting into their own unique soul's experience, part of our roles were held within their connection and no co-creation with them. And we have to go through that reinvention experience. Well, who does that make me now? I don't have that person in my life anymore. What does that make me? But that's part of that gray, the soul growth. It's in those gray versions. You get to reinvent yourself. We've never been here before. We've never been here before. As a collective, as individuals, we've never been at this space before. As a spirit, as a body, as a heart, and as a soul. And we're remembering who we are as spirit, that we're all one. It's never, ever separate, never taken away. It's always there vibrationally, always. And we get to reinvent ourselves. That's part of that breaking through. So that's great. They're showing me now. That is part of that infinity, right? The infinity, the infinity, the infinity, where we get to choose, this is who I want to be today, and break through. You get to break through it. You get to break through those membranes and see, that's what I want to be today. I get to define, I get to choose, I get to rework and know who I am at a new level. Those comes from those shades of gray, through that breaking down, that shifting away, people moving away, families and schools, and all of these systems, socio-systems are changing, because it needs to. We need to break it down. It needs to become gray, so that those have great light, those that have great excitement, those that have great passions come in with their big light, and we all get to work at it at a communal experience. It's how can it serve the greater good? And everybody's light is needed to make it this new, beautiful elegance that it will be in all colors. And it will become refined and refined year after year after year. The third one was, this is also for light workers as well, and the part of the inventing of who we are, is the duty to service versus love of creative play. So as light workers, can we reinvent ourselves from being so limited to our devotion to service? Because it's always going to be inherent. It will. It just is. It's coded. Believe me, I can't uncode it. I can't uncode my willingness to serve. It's me. You know, get up. What are we doing today? Let's, you know, but what we're shifting this perspective now, so that we're opening into spirit, is that my excitement to create, the joy of who I am as a creator, and shift that perspective so that your devotion and duty to serve doesn't become part of that bottleneck. Because so many of us as light workers, we've worked so hard, so diligently, and we've received very little in return in any way, physically, mentally, emotionally, or theoretically, or in any way of a monetary means, being helped in any way. We haven't received, you know, very little at all, if anything. And in that, we had titled and we had perceived and we had given ourselves those labels and definitions. I am devoted to service is what I do. And you push, 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 push until you're literally exhausted. There's nothing left. That becomes that bottleneck. So what we're receiving now as creators, as code breakers, as membrane breakers, as 5D co-creators and template makers, creative joy to be who you are, and release the duty and the necessity to play or to serve. It will be there. It will be within your creative joys and excitements. As you can tell, I'm really, really excited about creating in any way. I've got 1,000 million ideas and they're coming boom, 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 boom every day. New ideas, new ideas, new ideas. Anything within our socio systems, doesn't matter what it is, I can make ideas and I can help out. Animals, nature, insects, trees, forests, lakes, waters. Bring it. Because it's aligning with the councils and they're feeding it from all levels. They see the bigger picture. They know the bigger picture. The soul of me knows the bigger picture. The soul of me knows the bigger picture. I'm open, I'm aligned, I'm one with my higher self, I'm one with my soul. I've got my teams, I've got my ancestors. Let's do this. I'm an old soul. I've been here thousands of times. Let's do this. Let's do this. I've got the gifts. I've got the skills. Let's bring the light. Let's bring the light. Let's bring the light. And you need those people to co-create with you, and why there's others that have to shift off. Again, no qualitative or quantitative experience, again, at all. It all has to, because all of those shades of gray need to be touched by everyone. Everyone is a master at every level. Infinite number of Urs that are evolving, so that the vastness of who we are as a universe can move in its evolutionary experience. Remember, the 1% on this level is different than the 1% on this level, and this level, and this level, and this level, and this level. You see what we're saying? It's all needed, it's all required. Each has a mastery infusion at every level of gray. And that's why there's so much growth within that soul experience. And so part of my experience, they were showing me, I said, well, man, if I had only just done this, or if I'd only just done that. And they say, but what did you learn within that gray that you're damning, that you're saying, or shoulda, woulda, coulda? And I said, well, I can relax on my perception and my judgment on right or wrong. Because without that right or wrong, we can allow all that is to be. And in that beingness, you can see the fullest potential of source touching every part within the cell and within the vibrational threads. You know, when fabric, it's like grains of, that's what all creation is. It's the vibrational threads. When you're locked into a certain experience of right or wrong, source and light can't get through to every grain of thread that experience is experiencing. When you have a conversation with someone, just like right now, there are grains of vibrational threads that are working between us. If I'm stuck on a yes or a no, and this or that, it's this and that, it's all. Source allows its light to be touched through every vibrational grain. What is that word? My teams, what is that word that I'm looking for? I'm seeing it in my head and I'm feeling it in the vibration, but I don't have a word for it. Granule. It's like the, you know, it's the vibrational song. It's always there. As source lives through you as light, because I'm a conduit. A conduit means I'm a vessel of light that lives through me. I'm open, I'm sharing in love and excitement and celebration. The love of the Christ through the codes that I'm offering are touching the vibrational threads from me to you and through all that is. If I'm said here or here, that light can only go here, and then it gets chopped, and then it gets kind of missed. See what we're saying? Just allow it to be without judgment and reservation, and just observe. From that higher self perspective, you can then choose on how you want to entangle and engage in it, but without judgment, because it's all source. You're allowing the highest capacity of love and light to touch it, therefore becoming a higher granule of experience in that vibrational cycle. That vibrational cycle. See, I'm Sisi amama katika tke eshishi amama katika tke sisi amama katika amai intke eshishi katika sia tke eshishi brand new, brand new, brand new, brand new, brand new. New membrane. New. You're new. You're new. You're new. Play, 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 play. Hi, gentle little butterflies and gentle little insects and gentle little ladybugs, gentle little everything. The breath is so gentle. Just to touch you and to kiss you and to bathe you in the gentleness that is source. I'm new. My cells are new. I'm new. I'm refreshed. I'm bathed in the essence that is God, reminding me of who I am as source, reminding me of who I am as a creator, reminding me who I am as the initiator of new, the catalyst of new, the inspiration of new, what our society and socio-systems require for us to be more altruistic and kind and caring for one another. So that all are lifted, all. Nobody's left out. Nobody's left out. It's not right or wrong. It's what we all require. It's what we all require. And they're reminding me, yes, Joanna, you just say that, the children and, the slaves are in and having someone be placed under slavery. You stated earlier before that it's not okay. And those are my own personal experiences coming into my conversation as the human that I am, and also presenting conduit information of all being source. Not to damn it or demean it, but to infuse light into it so that all are brought up to a new vibration without calling it and damning it and judging it. And so again, that's part of my being human, to also incorporate into my shades of gray becoming higher light frequencies. Because we all have had those experiences of being abused. And when I say those words, oftentimes it's where it comes from. And those that have controlled us or thought that have controlled us, because it's all an illusion. That's part of the gray that you have to learn. Control is an illusion. There's no thing and no one that has control over you, regardless of what one might think or project or try to, place spells on. There is nobody that has control over you. Your complete dominion on your consciousness, Complete dominion on you. Complete dominion on you. And so state that, live that, be that. Be that expression of new. Be that expression of we've never been here before as a collective. So let's just release all the pettiness, release all the negativity, release all the things that we think we're stuck in, or one person has something more than another, or judging. Let it go. Because you're going to be there. Each and every one of you are going to be there. We're all fit. We're all everywhere. We're all everywhere. And just stay in your vibration of who you are. That's all you need to do. Renewal of you, who you are as the source. Renewal of who you are as the soul of who you are. And allow yourself any moment you can to create those new things in your everyday so that you don't feel a part of that bottleneck for too long. We've all got to burst out, and we've got to create these new creative experiences for humanity. And those of us that are ready to do that, we need to gather. We've got to start communing. So connect with those that you're vibrationally connected to connect with, because we got to connect in those vibrations of 3 or more before we're breaking new membranes. Those are the vibrations of the Christ that are coming through in the purity of intention to help and to heal and to bring light and to creatively express. And again, that's part of the thing that they said. Duty to service versus the love of creative play. So come together because you're vibrationally excited to play. Vibrationally excited to play. I got 1,000,005 ideas. Anybody that wants to be creatively excited to play with me and my teams and spirit and all that is for the greater good of humanity. Creative play, that's where I'm at. Creative play, creative play, creative play. And in that benevolent service to holy light. Highest integrity, highest truth, and it's not about motives of service to self. Service to self need not apply. My vibration is absolutely benevolence to humanity. Benevolence to humanity, the greater good, collective light, that's where I'm at. Anybody wants to play? I'm here. Go on, play. Come on. I'm waiting. Hello. Anybody there? Hello. Too funny. I tell my teams, okay, well, where? Like, come on. I've been asking for months now. Where's my team? Where's my tribe? Come on. And send out those vibrations for years now. It's so funny. Oh, Joanna. Shifting your perspective, honoring that which is social consistency of cycles that we infuse joy. So be consistent about infusing joy. That's what they said earlier, creative play. Choose creative play rather than duty to service, because creative play will automatically give you all that service you want. You were serving him just by being playful. So this is what the Holy Christ was to show me years and years ago, the Christic toolkit. Everything that we need to create our reality of the most abundant, beautiful, luxurious experience of source creator, the love of who we are, that beautiful essence that makes us fall to our knees and crying in tears, that's source living through you. Unmistakable, undeniable, it's a vibration, can't be duplicated. Source is source, and it will ring through every cell in your body. That's why I'm here. I want to experience that as often as possible, and in as many ways with as many people as possible. That experience right there is the excitement and the creative play of joy of who you are. You get to be joyful and experiencing source in all moments. And in doing that, you're serving. You just are. I mean, that's source. I mean, you're just blasting source love. Everyone can feel it. When you're moved by source, like in my last video, when Mother and the Father and Jesus threaded through me in that one experience, that never happened before. That was holy. Every cell was changed. It was. It totally was. And so that gray allows us to understand and be more expansive and grow within, just being present within it, sitting and being present, honoring it. What is this teaching me? What is the gray teaching me? It's not this or that, because remember, this or that is from our old world realities, paradigms, and belief patterns. What we're doing now is we're sitting in this space of gray and saying, we're infinite. We're infinite. So how can we really press out and create some light? Press out and create some light. Because it won't be this or that. It'll be all things. We get to infuse light into that all things and make it something new so that it absolutely serves. And we're not damning and judging and demeaning. Because remember that we have the experiences of crime, and we have the experiences of what we call injustice because of how we have deemed right or wrong, how we have demanded. separation and greed, haves and have-nots, because there's been so much disenfranchisement that what would you expect? You keep poking at a certain collective, and we've all seen that in the last couple of years with various understandings of our belonging with one another because of our skin color. So you see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how words and defines things we use to define. We are one. We are all source creator. We are all God's children, all spirit's children, all creator's children. We are all walking with cells and blood and hearts and bones. We are all one. And when we meet our galactic celestial families, our acceptance of one another in all packages that we come in. And how have we defined one another and separated one another just because of our packages? And how is that okay? That's not heart-based. Can it be? Can we create from a heart-based heart space and allow all peoples to be valued and placed upon that highest? I respect and I honor you in the Most High because you're me and I'm you and I honor you. I want to hear your story. I want to know who you are. I want to be a part of your story that is God, the source, that is spirit. You're part of that vibrational song. Brothers and sisters, lift everyone up to the Most High, and you are as well. The liberation and the coexistence of new formats of abundance, right? We want to bring everyone up to new forms of abundance, all peoples, all children, all disenfranchised, all aged. And the aged is another community that have been forgotten in the song and the stories that have been passed down from the aged. And so how can we re-infuse light into those communities? How can we infuse light into the oneness of who we are as a community? And that is the infusion of the creative joy from one another, bringing one another together in the threading of one. Not standardizing light, but playing within it and exciting and delighting in it. So that was a great statement for me. That was just kind of mind-boggling for me, because they were saying, you know, you don't have to standardize your light. When I was talking about infusing light into certain systems, because then you get to standardize it. It's not at all. It really isn't. If we understand source creator, every moment, every breath of source is different. That's how it's just mind-boggling. The elegance of source. It's just mind-boggling. The elegance that is source creator, the elegance that is the beauty that is source, the light the light that touches and transmutes everything in its path. It's not standard at all. And this is where, again, we're getting into devotion to service, because it's still limiting, and opening up to creative joy and just being you, because then that light can do whatever it needs to do. And it's not up to us to know how to do it, and not up to us to expect outcome. That's part of that first part. See, everything relates to itself. The separation of family and loved ones. We don't want to place expectations on who we thought had to come with us and what they thought their role had to be, and all of those things, because that's where part of that grief is. Because we had those expectations in those linear terms, in those older vibrational patterns of what we thought family and coming with us and all that stuff, when it was just based on old versions of 3D reality. And we're expanding now, and that's part of that bottleneck. So to understand it, we're in a bottleneck right now, and we will jet through into something new. We absolutely will. And source will infuse certain codes and certain light for us to say, okay, wake up. Well, here we go. And it's okay, because we're going to see everybody in different ways, in different bodies, in different packages that we want to come in. You know, I would love to come in a dolphin package. And I do have dolphins right now. Thank you. You know, the bodies that we come in, the vessels, the skins that we wear, we transmute and transform and transform ourselves. They're different packages every day. And so why do we place such limitation and difference or separateness? And that's that shades of gray that we all learn within. Because even as I'm speaking it, I'm finding those shades of gray that I want to infuse light and to create better words and versions of expressiveness, as you can tell. We're huge shades of gray, and I want to infuse light so that I'm bringing forth greater, higher vibrational, experiential conversation and offerings, so that you can experience it in your own way as a vibrational experience, on how you, as the beautiful vessel of all that you are, that sacred being that you are as source, and how you have been defined and placed expectations on, the roles that you had been placed upon, the versions of projections that have been placed upon you through lineage and through timelines that are no longer valid. And the skins that we've each worn, we say skins as a metaphor for the versions of us that have been defined by others that we did not choose to take on, but we just did because it's part of the entrainment, you know, right? The environment we come within and things that people tell us. We just do, we take that on, but we don't have to. It's choice. This is the shades of gray, and we get to choose. I want to be this now, I want to be this, and that's that creative play. And not standardizing light, because light's not standard by in any means. My light tomorrow is going to be totally different than today. And so sure, that source creator, that's the honoring of source. That is the benevolence and the humbleness and the respect and reverence of source. And that is through that self-responsibility. When you're going through all of those shades of gray and you're walking up those steps twice, if you have to, because you're going to be a better master for it. And if you have to go back and do a karmic lesson again, you go back and do it again, because you will be absolutely glad you did it. Because you're going to come through with a massive amount of soul growth. And then you will have that soul responsibility, that self-responsibility, say, yes, I know this now. There's no self-doubt, there's no wavering, there's no back and forth, no. You know that vibration before it even hits your door. No, door closed. You get to choose with greater efficacy. Yes, this is me now. That's that joy and excitement, because you've been there, you've done that. No, don't want to do that. I want to do something new now, out here. And that's how you release those karmic energies, and you clear them so that source can now take them into process them into something new for the whole lineage. Again, it's for everybody, the all. And some of them are really great. Oh, and so the last thing they said that we'll just end it off here is that stardust constantly moves and it's constantly shining. So be as if you are stardust from all that is. And in any moments you just want to sit there and have those moments of just like still reverence. You're still shining, you're in the reverence of who you are, and you're creating that stillness of who you are. And in the moments, yes, it might feel like that bottleneck, because they just feel like moments where you're just like walking through mud, right? It just feels like you're dragging your feet. But you are still shining, and you will still get up, and you will be breathed by a source breath. Source breath will breath you anew, and you'll be picked up and taken somewhere new. Through your own intentions. This is what I want to experience today. This is what I'm excited to create today. This is my new joy. This is my new joy. I'm not standard in any way. Let's make it something new. Let's make it something new. Let's make it something new. And we break that membrane as a collective. So we hope that what we've offered you today is of assistance and of help to understand sometimes and oftentimes what we feel in those vibrational ascension symptoms. You know, the despair of the unknown, oh my gosh, what's going to come and what's not going to come. Well, we don't ever know, right? We can use we can use the analogy of going into doing boutique shopping, just window shopping. We don't know what we're going to see in the window, but we're there excited. We want to see all the colors. We want to see the textures. We want to see the new, what we're creating as the display. We get to create it as we go. So let's gather. Where are your hearts excited? What are you really here to offer as your personal excitement with creation? And start calling them in at a heart level. Every night, do your vibrational call-ins. Just sit there. I want to call in a good handful of really good, soulful, truthful, trustworthy tribe that can help me create this. If you're really excited to create this. And just send it out, pulsations every night. I really want to explore walking in the Andes. I want to create a tribe that will help me get there and be with me on the journey. This is what I want to create. Just send out those pulsations at night when you're in that beautiful, loving, relaxed mood of your oneness with who you are and what you've gone through, and you're appreciating yourself for that day. You're honoring yourself. You're giving yourself some tenderness and some care, and your beauty of who you are, and giving yourself that love. And from that loving space, create those new loving intentions at that heart center and just send them out. I'd love a beautiful soulmate that wants to walk on this journey with me, creating all the things I want to create at that level. And source and your teams and everybody's working on it to thread everything, so that your souls and your hearts can entwine and you can come together, 3 or more, and you start creating these experiences and need to break these plasma bottlenecks. And it's all just vibrational words that we're talking about, but we all feel them as what's next, we don't know, but we get to create it. That's what's so exciting. Everything in our socio-altruistic systems are going to change so that we're greater serving one another through our creative expression and our joy. And that's how it was always meant to be. you know, and that's why Jesus was the master that he was, because he had such joy just walking and connecting with all that source had laid before him. And he was at peace and in love in just those moments of, you know, I've talked about that before, just in his moments of just appreciating Gaia, you know, in those quiet journey moments where he was, you know, in love with Gaia and just being with Gaia. There was no, I have to remind myself this because, you know, I'm quite driven, you know, and part of my soul's journey is to have patience and, you know, slow and steady, you know, kind of wins the race. Because again, we're all in those shades of gray, and there's lots to learn. There's lots that your soul wants to move through and navigate that gray. Because there's lots in there. There's lots. When something comes down, and as that tower comes down and all the dust is there, there's so much there to grow. You know, how am I seeing it today? What can I take from it tomorrow? What do I feel today? What does my body feel today? Where am I at today? Wow, I forgive myself. How can I see it differently now? So much soul growth. And every day you're creating that expansiveness of our whole collective. In that gray, those are where those evolutionary moments just push our entire collective. So be okay in the gray. Soak it for all it's worth, because there's so much soul growth there. And try not to just pass it up and just say, this is where I want to be, this is where I want to be, that's where I want to be. And that's been my experience, because it's just been so long. I'm 51. I've been aware of it every moment. You know, when I'm telling my teams, okay, now, ready for that next step. You know, and they're just like, there's so much going on right now. You know, do some reflection, start pulling out this gray, because it's so, I mean, you would be, because, you know, they were saying to me, they said, it might not seem like you've done, you know, you've felt that vibrational difference of when you brought yourself, you know, to that page experience again. And that page experience means that you are allowing yourself to review experiences at a collective level, so that you can see it from the gray in a different way. Because what I thought I knew, and absolutely, I wouldn't take it back for a minute, very painful and very challenging. I wouldn't have been able to go through any day without my teams and my ancestors. I did it alone. I wouldn't recommend it for anybody. I recommend that in your daily self-care, that's why I'm asking and suggesting and honoring, find yourself a good tribe, 1 or 2 people that you can call on, so that you know your ascension cycle, you know those that you can call on when you're going through a release and you want someone to talk to. And you can create that release program for yourself, so that you get out in nature, you do your salt baths, you soothe yourself, and you have those people that are with you on the journey 100% of the way. And then create those people in your community that you can call upon, you know, counselors and doctors and homeopathy, you know, Reiki, soul floats, you know, where you're in those big salt tubs, acupuncture, those things that you rely on that reset your bodies in a multidimensional experience. Essences and oils and herbs and tonics, and there's so much now. It's so beautiful. This is where we're really excited. So create. This is what our collective is requiring now, is ways that we can learn about who we are as cyclical beings of evolution. And each and every one of you have a gift to infuse your light into those cyclical experiences of evolution. And how each and every one of you are a part of that beautiful song. And create and have fun with it. You know, they're just saying that there was a part of me that there was many of us years ago, you know, light workers, that, you know, we've all gone through the process, about those of us that have been on the spiritual journey for a while, and we've been so devoted to service, you know, devotion to service versus creative joy. And many of us have done so much work for free, never asking for a penny. And my teams this year, you know, they were suggesting you start asking for donations. You can make a myriad of streams of income. It's just a matter of perceiving yourself in a different way and presenting it in a different way, so that you're sending out those vibrations of those varying sources of income to come into you, because your gifts are so varied. And I didn't think of it that way. And then they were saying, you know, you have so many things that you're so excited about that are not necessarily seen as, or labeled or defined or put under the umbrella as spiritual. but you're absolutely a creative, gifted being within it. You know, like beauty products um, and clothing. You know, linen, a linen line. I would love to help co-create a linen line, a beautiful linen line. I would love that. The goddess becoming, you know, and the queen becoming, and the comfortability that we have when we want to flow and sing and dance in nature, and just allowing our clothes just to flow with us and be with us, and allowing us to be absolutely honoring in who we are as the vessels and the beautiful skins that we all come in, and start honoring it from a sacred experience. But this is what they were saying, is that sometimes in the arenas of spirituality and everything that we've come from as a collective, there's many judgments, and there's many things that are projected at us because of our unique experiences to want to dance and experience and explore within. And that's okay. That's part of the ride. You wanted that. You know, you've had those lifetimes where you were a monk and you were very specific in that experience of being a monk. This is the lifetime for many old souls that you wanted to have your hands in everything, because you can. You have your experience of a soul, and you want to have that richness of experience on planet Earth in these tremendous times of change. And Source wants that for you. Source wants you to have your hands into as many things as you can. That's evolution. That's your soul. Your soul is evolving. Your soul wants to experience. That is the soul's expression of all that it is. Experience. The experience of all that Source is able for you and to co-create as excitements. You know, interior design, art, a beautiful palette of eyeshadow, you know, a beautiful oil for the hair, you know, and get back to bringing beauty back, you know, bringing beauty back to who we are as a species. It's important. It's really important that we do that, you know, and it's okay that we have our hands in all and just play and be creative in that and honor it and then receive it. It's part of the whole experience on Earth. Not to feel bad or judged or blasphemy because, you know, we're allowing ourselves to receive when 50 years of our life we'd received nothing. And so be okay with that. You know, be okay with the fact that light workers can do something now that's a little bit different. We can press out in ways that's not what we thought it would look like, because that's what Source has been showing me for a year. What you think your path looks like, it's not going to be what you look like. It's not going to be A to Z. You thought it was going to be here to there. No, that's never Ascension. Ascension is never straight up. It's here and there and over here and there, because that's what your soul wants. Your soul wants that navigation. Your soul wants that creative potentiality, where in another lifetime you were, you know, you were an engineer. Another lifetime you worked on planes. Another lifetime you were this, you were that. This is the lifetime we get to be all of it. So be it. You know, I get offered something. I want to take that opportunity. Absolutely. I want to have my hands in as much as possible that I can creatively infuse my light into. And I want to know that when it's my time to go, and Source and I are talking about, okay, Source, it's time for me to check out. You know, I want to sit there and I want to go, yeah, I had a great life. I brought my light into as much as possible. And I had fun. I had fun decorating. I had fun, you know, creating a, you know, really simple but beautiful life. I brought beauty back for me. And that was part of my soul's mission, for the divine feminine, to speak wisdom, to speak leadership, to speak on behalf of those that have temporarily lost their voices because of old outdated systems. I want to be a part of it. And so be okay with your shifting perspectives in the gray. It's supposed to be there, because that's where you really come up new and say, wow, I'm okay to say that. Yeah, I've got so many creative experiences I want to tangle with. I want to dance. And I'm okay saying it. I'm okay being it. I'm okay putting my feelers out there and saying, anybody wants to play, I can infuse some light into it. So let's bring it. Let's bring it. So do you. So bring your light. Bring your light. Where do you hear excited to create? Where do you hear excited to be for you to explore you, 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 and let go of what everybody else is doing. Let go of what everybody else is doing. Focus on you. Focus on you and your path of renewing yourself with your soul, of renewing yourself with who you are, your highest truth, of what you're going through in your shifting and sensing and feeling your families and your circles shift. It's a part of the ride. Be okay with it. They're going to be with you in another body, another form, in another way. You'll be able to connect with them in a higher version. Allow the gray to be okay. And then you get to infuse all your light into it and come up with something new. Because your soul's going to grow through it. You're going to be expansive. You're going to be growing and pressing out. So beautiful. It's so beautiful when you can feel into it and you just know every level of you is just like, whoa. That's that subtle experience that changes and shifts every part of you when all that you are is being harmonized. Body, mind, spirit, your cells, your organs, everything is being harmonized to a higher version of light. That's really wild. I'm just feeling right now as I'm doing this. What are my kids doing? No idea what they're doing. Oh, building a bench. I don't know. Chicken coop? Are we building a chicken coop? Sounds like a chicken coop. Maybe I should go check on that. I love you, everyone. We love you. I honor you so much. Those that would love to donate, we would love your donations. Thank you to those that have sent us some money. I'm going to be getting some new illustrations printed off. And my daughter's old enough to start assisting me. So she's going to help me, get the documents in order so that we can start printing them. Those are not I'm not one for admin. So those donations help and get her resume started so that she can, get her stuff out there. So we're really, really excited. We're all helping one another. I'm so excited and so happy. Thank you, dear lighted ones. We're so happy for you to join us. Anybody that wants to connect, our links are down there, our emails are down there. We love you and we honor you as the spirit that you are and the most high of all that you are, as the Holy Mother and the Holy Father and the sacred child that's ready to create something new for humanity. We love you, we love you, we love you, we love you, we love you. And we wish you rainbows and blessings for each day and every day. And know that you are the miracle that creates your life. So be responsible within who you are and stay responsible in the fifth dimensional way. You're responsible for that beautiful light that you are. So create in the creative joy of who you are as glowing and being that blessing of glowing and being that blessing of creativity and that blessing of all that you are as beauty and light. And knowing that this is where you're creating from and it will come to fruition. And we love you and we honor you always. Namaste. We rainbow you. We rainbow you. Bye.